Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. Hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas, and now we are back to the crypto news and updates. So while looking at crypto, say just concentrating on the top 10, we can see that most of them are more or less stagnant. We can see in last 24 hours, or if you take last 7 days, there's no much big movement. So while looking at the charts, we can see there are some patterns or divergence forming in the price. Now this XRP will actually go through other cryptocurrencies as well. Then we'll actually look at some of tweets which gives you some valuable information, say some from the top notch investors and what they are doing right now considering the market cycle. Then some related to Ripple and the company, what the company is doing, how they are moving ahead, like some based on the top banks and their partnerships with Ripple, then are related to central bank digital currencies from Europe, and some others are related to the similar area, which will actually push the cryptocurrency or tokenization ahead. So before we jump into all of these news and discuss through this in detail, I would like to request you guys, if you guys like the content I provide on a regular basis, please do support the channel. Hit the subscribe button, like the video. If you guys have any comment to improve the channel, if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. I'm happy to change or alter anything which I'm doing wrong to improve the channel. So first we are going into the tweet. Now this is from Peter Vass. He is just highlighting that Warren Buffett has 128 billion in cash. He's actually waiting for something. So if you have actually seen some of the videos from Warren Buffett previously, you will be familiar with a sentence in which he states, when you're piling cash, stockpiling cash, that means you're waiting for something to come on sale. So as an investor like him, I think what's gonna come into sale. So if you actually look at his market representations during the recessions, you'll understand where he was taking out his profits, where he was putting the sell positions. You will understand what is ahead. So as far as I'm concerned, I can understand that yes, even though the markets are at all-time high, the investors like this are taking out their profit, and now they are becoming more defensive because the psychology is too high. The price is moving really to the upside, so it can actually turn at any time. Yes, these investors don't actually care about the top end, say the last 10 or 15% of gains, because they know that that's risky. You can't actually predict what's gonna come. Now moving on to the next one, this is from Leonidas, showing that Ripple targets partnership with banks in Brazil in 2020. So if you look at that, yes, Ripple has already partnered with banks in Brazil, and now they are actually looking at blockchain remittance in Brazil. So if that's going to happen, that's going to be huge for Brazil itself, considering the remittance market. See, Ripple's blockchain platform has plans to expand partnership with banks in Brazil in the international people remittance market by 2020. Now, this is the end of 2019, and we are already here. We just have less than a week to get into 2020. So that's going to be huge for that market because it has a lot of potential to do that. Now, as we can see here, a transfer service through Ripple can host up to 10% of the amounts charged by banks. According to partner reports here, the first bank to use Ripple's technology for international remittance was Santander, Brazil, in October last year. 2 months later, British origin fintech TransferWise landed in the country, which quickly became one of its top 5 global markets. So you can understand what is actually going inside the payments and settlements arena, as we discussed in one of our videos previously, say 2 days back. If you check here in the top, you can actually see that. If you go through that video, you'll understand that people are actually differentiating Bitcoin and other digital assets which has a use case, say payments or settlements. They are confused when they reach that particular state where regulated financial institutions are using this asset to do transaction to complete a settlement. Now here, this is from Santander Standard Charter, now showing their connections with Ripple. Now, if you actually go through this, you'll understand, like say the strategies behind both the companies are actually looking forward for a new technology in the finance. So we'll read the quote. Standard Charter's commitment to digitization and distributed financial technology complements our vision of a future where value moves as easy as information moves today, said the Ripple CEO and co-founder Chris Larsen. With Standard Chartered towards investment and continued partnership, we look forward to utilizing their unique network and capabilities to accelerate adoption among financial institutions, liquidity providers, and business across Asia, Africa, and Middle East. So you can actually see that they are not actually directly targeting the main area like US, Europe. Yes, they are working in that corridors as well, but the concentration is given more to developing area, more say Asia, Africa, Middle East. Now that's actually a key to look at it, because as far as I believe, the next developmental decades, for say next 20, 30, 40 decades, it will be for Asia. Now that's my perspective. I don't know how many of you will accept that, but considering the demographics, the working population and their average age, you can say that countries like India, China will lead next 50 years. Yeah, not just right now. It will take next 5 to 10 years to get started, because a recession. That's also my perspective. Now it's up to you. You can do your background research, but as far as I understand the market and the information which I have, it's like there is gonna be a recession and it's gonna be soon. Yes, markets are at the all-time high. That means you sell when the price is high, right? You buy when the price is low. So that's what intelligent people like Warren Buffett are doing. Buy low, sell high. So it's all-time high means, buddy, you should be selling. Now, yeah, that's my perspective. And if you're doing that, you should do your due diligence and take care of your money. Just do background research before you invest your money into something. Now, they're showing that European Central Bank showcases proof of concept using R3's CODA digital DLT platform. So, they're actually looking to the central bank digital currency, and the best thing for XRP community is that they are actually looking into R3's CODA, proof of concept using that. So, we know that at present the settlement asset XRP is inside CODA, or in other terms we can say that only settlement asset used in there now, the digital asset, is XRP. So that's actually good news. So if they are jumping into that wagon, see, some of their customers will actually follow that, and that will be huge for the community. Now, if you're looking at a tweet from XRP Joker, it shows that the Federal Reserve, often referred to as Fed, is the Central Bank of the United States. Congress created in 1913. Now, yeah, that's all about Fed, but this is the perspective from XRP Joker. Let Joker clarify. He clarifies, Fed was established in 1913 when the Rothschild and Co. clittered their way into controlling the US monetary system. Unfortunately, many things in our world are corrupt. This will never change. These lying bastards are losing control. So, when the fiat currencies are losing their value, purchasing power is reducing day by day, they need to come up with something better. So, in reply, he's showing the countries like Bolivia, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Russia, Syria, the remaining countries without central banks. These are already being transitioned. So yes, you should be looking at that, right? Now, I haven't seen this previously. I just saw this now. In the year 2000, there were 8 countries without a Rothschild-owned or controlled central bank. That's Afghanistan, Iraq, Sudan, Libya, Cuba, North Korea, Iran, Syria. Now, yes, that is good. So there are countries which have central banks which don't have any control from the family, Okay, now moving on to the next one. This is from XRP Crypto Wolf, showing Russia's Supreme Court recognizes crypto tokens as assets like money and property. Now that's actually good news. If they are considering cryptocurrency as assets, like say Japan and South Korea, this is a good news, because other countries, say in BRICS, will also be looking to take similar actions. They won't actually contradict. Say take China, India, or other countries, they won't actually directly contradict. Say China, what they're talking in front is like they are saying we're gonna ban cryptocurrencies, but we are high on blockchain but not on cryptocurrency. But for sure, if they want to go ahead with blockchain idea, for me and my perspective, I understand that this is just shaking out. Things are being planned in the background, but the digital system is coming soon. Now when I say digital system, it's considering the crypto assets. Now this is from Jeffrey Tucker. We actually discussed about his opinion about XRP previously. Now it's actually showing the same, like XRP is labeled as an extremely important technology by US economists. Now I actually have made a video based on this. You can see that showing, XRP is thriving on the failure of Swift network. So yes, you have a detailed video about that. I'll actually link that here. If you guys want to view that, you can click here. And the next one is a news article showing that Ripple spent a year to convince MoneyGram about XRP, says Brad Garlinghouse. So if an existing partner took 1 year to get into on-demand liquidity, then it's actually thinkable that say it will take time for other banks, central banks, before they jump into on-demand liquidity and start using it. So if you are a long-term investor here in XRP, as an XRP community member, I'll just say hold on to your position, don't leave it to the whales. If it is possible for you to dollar cost average yourself, say your position average position is 0.4, now the price is below 0.2, so that's a like I consider this as a golden opportunity to reduce my average and at least take it below 0.2 or at least near 0.2. So say if the price is only bouncing back to 0.5 and you're tired of this, still you get more than double your money, right? You're not losing anything. Instead, if you are actually waiting there with the 0.4 average and the price reaches 0.5, that's not that big profit. Yes, profit is profit, but that's not doubling your money, right? Now looking at the general crypto market, as we just saw that it's still more or less stagnant. There's no much big movement, but in the liquidity area, what we can see is previously was like 37 million in green and 36 million 35 million in red, but right now it's changed a bit. It's like 44 million in green and 35 million in red. So that's actually good news for XRP. Now discussing about that, I'll show that the underlying strength or the bullish pattern which is forming here based on the MACD for me. I'll showcase it like this. The general trend is like here the price is consolidating and then going to the downside. Now this consolidation came after a downward movement. So previously we considered that as a bearish checkmate here, but yes, the price didn't go to the upside, it came down, it broke to the downside. Now when we look at this particular section, we can see that the MACD is pointing to the downside, but the price is at the verge of a breakout. Now if the price is not respecting this particular line, then you can say that the price may go up to the upside, but as of now we can see that the price is actually respecting these resistance trend line and it's getting pushed to the downside from this line. As we can see that the price actually went and touched that particular area, but the price is moving to the downside now. But what's interesting is if you look at the Bollinger Bands on a daily, you can see that the price is actually below the bottom of the Bollinger Band. It was below the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Now it's just above the bottom of the Bollinger Band. So if you actually see that the potential possibility that the price can retest this area before a move up high is still valid. Unless we break above this trend line, then make a retest and move up, or at least retest here and move up. That's still a possibility, so you should actually consider that. Now looking at XRP to BTC, this XRP to BTC on a daily, we'll actually jump into a 1 hour chart first. So we can see like the price is being resisted by the 200-day moving average at a 1 hour chart, and the price is at the top of Bollinger Bands. So if the price is to close above this area, say a candle like this, it will be a continuation pattern forming there after breaking this resistance area. because this can be considered as a previous resistance area and this as a trading range. So say the price actually had a spring here that was too close to make that spring, but yeah, it looks something like that. So if the price is to break to the upside here, then it should be a continuation pattern for short term, that's 1 hour chart, right? Now if you're looking at 4 hour chart, as you can see, the price actually bounced a bit, showing that there is underlying strength in that. This is like, usually we get 2 or 3 candles, then a jump to the upside, but here in this particular case you actually got 5 candles before the jump to the upside, but the price is actually resisted at the resistance area here. So unless we go to the upside here, crossing the 50-day moving average, this red line in 4 hour chart, I don't think the price has that potential ability to move more to the upside, because if you look at the same chart in a daily and changing that into log scale, what you can understand is, say when you are drawing a line, this is kind of a trend line forming here, you're getting supported there, it's okay, but what you have to consider here is at the same time MACD is not yet crossed to the upside and it's still in a negative area. Yes, you should be buying there, right? But if you consider that the negative area can actually go even much lower, so the potential for the price to revisit this area still exists. But yes, that's not a big drop in price. If you're a short-term investor, you should be careful about that, because if you are leveraged, then yes, it can hurt you. Now looking at the previous pattern here, as you can see that the moving averages were coming closer here after this particular pattern. So that is the pattern formed around here. Then as you can see that the 200-day moving average was at the top, the price went up bit to the downside and then it started the move upside. So while looking at the MACD for that particular time, if you look at that, you can see that the MACD was actually traveling to the downside, the price was traveling to the downside, then the price was consolidating and the MACD started showing a divergence there. So while looking at the same for the present movement, we can see that the price is still going to the downside and the MACD is also showing that the trend is moving to the downside. So I think the wait is a bit more long. We'll have to wait a bit more long. But if you're patient enough, then you're not losing any of your money. Now for the Bitcoin, I'll say there's no much difference from what we analyzed yesterday on a daily chart, because the pattern is still being followed. Well, as we can say that this line is being supported and it's being bounced. The price is being bounced there, making a higher high for this particular while looking at this particular area. Now if we actually look at 4 hour chart for BTC, what we can see is the price is actually maintaining bullishness. Say 50-day moving average is looking to cross the 200-day moving average in a weekly chart, in a 4 hour chart. Now that's actually a bullish scenario, and what you can see is the MACD is actually trying to cross to the upside. It failed once, but the retest here is getting supported by the moving averages there, say the 50 and 200. Now if the price manages to break above, that will be a good news. Now we'll actually look at Ethereum in USD. It's getting more or less a similar chart pattern. I think it's more or less following BTC itself. But if we look at the short-term trend, say if we put a rectangle here, we can see that it's still trading within that range. So unless this move above this area, say 135 to 140, and consolidate a bit here, then break to the upside, that's gonna be a negative news for Ether. So we'll take a look at our daily chart of Ether, and we understand that the price is near to that of a break to the upside, because as far as MACD is considered, you can see that the MACD has already crossed to the upside, yes, but the price didn't actually reflect that. Yesterday we had a fake out, we just ran up to 131, but came down and closed there. So that's kind of you can consider that as a hammer reversal pattern. So if that's valid, then the price should actually start moving from here, because we got a long wick here, but the price didn't actually reflect the upside here, whereas at this particular area you are getting inverse hammer. So that's actually a good sign. Now we'll actually look at LTC in USD. Now this LTC to USD chart in a daily, and as you can see that it's more or less similar to that of Ether and BTC. It's still being inside that chart pattern in this channel. So if the BTC is to move to the upside, then I think LTC is gonna follow that, because more or less even better than Ether, LTC is showing more dependence on BTC here. Now looking at an hourly chart of LTC, what we can see is, say we just zoom in a bit and checking the chart pattern, we can see that this was the previous kind of a candle here. The price went to the upside, it now slowly came to the downside. So there is a potential chance that the price can actually revisit, I think, this particular area. So that's 43. So yes, that's not so big considering where we are right now. So that's short-term perspective. Now if you look at a weekly chart for LTC, say zooming a bit out and looking at the MACD, we can see that the price is already kind of bottoming out. The MACD actually tried to cross to the upside once, it bounced there. Now it's second and third try coming up. So usually it's like that. Say you can see that the MACD is tried once, 2, 3, 4, and it crossed. So once it crossed, the price actually came to the downside, like kicking out the weak hands, or that can hurt some, but the leverage positions. Then the price started moving to the upside. So if we are looking at the same perspective here, we should be expecting something like that. So yes, the price can actually move even a bit low, say around 30, 35. Then it can reverse and go to the 150 range. Now we actually covered through some of the interesting news and technical analysis, then connecting the fundamentals. So if you guys liked the information which I have provided, please do support the channel. And yes, I'm not a native English speaker, so there can be syntax and grammar issues. Please forgive me. I'm trying to lay out the information as it comes. So again, if you guys like the content, please do support the channel, subscribe and like the content. I'll meet you guys on my next video. Bye for now.